Short version, not dead. Short disclaimer, I just like to say if there's a lot of background noise, it's currently got like 48 degrees here in Vienna and I've got the fan running and the window open. Please don't complain, I'm dying of heat stroke. This kind of feels like I bumped into an old friend from school at the store while shopping, only that you're not an old friend but a camera, and this isn't a store but just the reality of me not having filmed a video in 2 months. Whoops. Let me just start off with saying I'm sorry. In case any one of you 66 lovely people, Satan, I see you, has been outraged for the last 2 months, I do apologise. Now, I did film a pasta and procrastination video yesterday to continue our food and forgetfulness theme, but I wasn't really happy with it, mainly because I didn't really address the reason why I haven't filmed a video in such a long time. So instead of stuffing my face with carbs and making disgusting mouth noises for 20 minutes, I decided to just sit down and film a little vlog where I explain why I haven't been as present on the YouTubes as I used to be. If you've been following my channel for a little while now, you will know that I have lived in Amsterdam for 6 months, which sounds even more surreal now than it did back then. And I did still film a lot of videos when I still lived in the Dam. And I know this is probably the most used and also most annoying phrase on YouTube right now, but while I was acting all cheery and happy and sarcastic in front of the camera, I wasn't doing as well behind the scenes. Now, not to say that I didn't have an absolutely wonderful time there, because I did. I just didn't realise that I was in kind of a mental slump for most of the time. I didn't eat well, and by that I mean my diet either consisted of 2 kilograms of pasta and a bucket of instant noodles a day, or nothing at all. I had a very fucked up sleeping schedule, and I barely ever left the bed or my flat for that matter. Now, I wasn't really concerned about that because I still had friends and went to uni and generally had a very good time there. I was creative, I played a lot of music, I started bullet journaling, and yet somehow wasn't really doing that great. But in order to enjoy the little time I had in Amsterdam, I decided to take this weird feeling and compress it into a tiny little ball and simply hide it away in some hidden corner at the back of my brain. And I was fine. Only that mental health doesn't really work that way. And I knew that. I knew that I was eventually going to have to face whatever that weird pile of concern was, just not now, just not here. So instead of trying to figure out what was wrong, I just decided to pull this weight with me like some weird Western villain having a ball and chain attached to their ankle. And you might be asking yourself now, but Issa, what does that have to do with your YouTube channel? Well, dear friend, let me elaborate. When I came back from Amsterdam, I knew that something had to change, and it had to change ASAP, because if I was going to let it grow any bigger, it was going to crush me. And since I'm very shit at actively engaging in conversation about my mental health, especially when it's not doing that good, I just decided to figure shit out by myself. And after a long and intense thinking session, I realised what had been missing from my everyday life. Continuity. And suddenly it all made sense. Coming to Amsterdam, living by myself for the first time in 19 years, not knowing my surroundings, and having to take care of myself all on my own was something I had never done before. But because I never admit my weaknesses, especially not to myself, I decided to just suck it up and pretend that everything was okay. It still meant that I was suppressing all my fear and insecurities for 6 months. Because my life lacked the continuity it had back home in Vienna, my brain simply didn't know how to adapt. Unfortunately, I only realised that when I came back home. It was that sort of aha moment you see in all the cartoons when the little light bulb pops up over the character's head and suddenly all the little puzzle pieces started falling together. I had been so focused on having a good time and keeping up the image of being a strong and independent woman that I didn't realise what my body and mind were lacking most. A schedule. Now, by schedule, I don't mean a literal daily plan. I'm not about that. I mean little things that you do every day, like getting up and brushing your teeth. Now, for most of you, this might seem like a totally normal thing to do, but in the mental black hole I was in, I would wake up and not get out of bed for like the first 5 hours of the day, and then eventually I'd get up to get some form of breakfast, only to then retreat into my blanket fort again and not leave my flat while watching all this YouTube content to soothe my brain's need for entertainment. And then the day would just slowly flow past me and suddenly it would be the end of the week and I just hadn't left my bed. So when I came home, I knew that I had to change some things. I literally had to train myself back into living a life that most people would consider normal. I had to train myself to brush my teeth again. I had to train myself to take a shower and wash my hair at least twice a week. I had to train myself to eat breakfast every day. All of these little things that you need to get your day started, I had to learn them again. It took me a couple months to get back on track with my normal daily schedule, and now, for the first time in years, I can say that I'm doing pretty well, mentally and physically. I guess this video isn't as much of an apology, but more of an explanation and also a little piece of advice for some of you who might be going through a similar phase. I don't want to put my experience in a little box and label it with some mental illness. I just simply wanted to give you an explanation why I had to take a break from making videos in order to regain all my forces and now pour all my creativity back into making videos. But now I'm back, stronger than ever. Just kidding, I still haven't exercised a single time since I left high school, and I really want to start making videos again because it makes me happy and I like doing it. I guess what I would like you to take away from this is if there's something not right in your mind or with your body and you know that something is off, take the time to figure out what it is. Try changing things up a little in your everyday life. Try finding something that you can look forward to every day. For me, that's a cup of tea. For you, it might be watching one episode of your favorite Netflix show. Who knows? It's something different for everybody. Without further ado, I hope you liked that little anecdote about my mental health evolution and didn't fall asleep halfway through me moaning about my white girl problems. If you did, make sure to tickle those thumbs down below, and I'll see you in the foreseeable future. What? I didn't say that my channel was going to get any continuity. Baby steps, okay?